What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are doing good. See, I'm actually filming this video in my car. Kind of gives it just a different background. And plus it's kind of hard for me sometimes. I usually have a certain place that I record stuff, and just with work and all that, sometimes it's kind of hard just to get up there. So I decided to do it here today. But the topic of today, y'all, is something that I really think most of y'all have, you've heard of, and some people may have dealt with it, whether it being the person that has it or on the other end with the person that is dealing with another person who has it. In my case, I have dealt with a person that has it, and I know people that have it, and that is sex addiction. I think it's just like any other addiction, y'all. With substance abuse, that's something that I know a lot about. I went through went through hell and back with substance abuse, and addiction is absolutely no joke. But addiction is not always substances like alcohol. I mean, it can be behaviors and activities, and people can get addicted to sex. They use that to fill some kind of void in their life, and I guess it makes them feel some sort of connection. I don't know, because I've never had it, but I have talked to people. I had friends that have went through periods of it, and they have had it, and to them, they said they feel like when you have sex with somebody, it's almost like it makes you feel wanted. I guess it makes you feel like you are special, and you crave that attention, you crave the high that you can get from that. And so from my understanding, that's what it is. And I have actually gotten into some kind of romantic relationships or situationships with people, whatever you want to call them, when I was younger, that I do believe that they suffered from that. I don't think they realized it, but they absolutely did. Just always needing that physical interaction at all times of the day, anytime, every time, and getting very upset and aggravated when they didn't have it, even if they just got it like not long ago. And I am not like that, and I could not stand that, y'all. It used to get on my nerves so bad. I was just like, how can this person need this so much? But and I feel like a lot of it, in the gay community, sex is such a huge, it's just, I don't know, it's such a huge influence on a lot of our behaviors, a lot of our actions, and it's almost like that's expected of us. So people that not necessarily, some people that are not really sexual people, when they come out and come into the gay world, I mean, because I feel like this myself when I was younger, you feel a lot of pressure to be hypersexual. You think, well, that's just what there's, that as a gay man, when I was young, I just feel like, well, that's just what I'm supposed to do, or that's just who we're supposed to be. But that's not true at all. The thing about it is, if you listen to what society tells you to do, you will take a lot of bad roads, and you will make a lot of wrong turns. I know firsthand with that. But the thing about sex addiction is, when you're out and about, being with so many different people, probably people you don't even know, not even using protection, I mean, you really put your health at risk. And you also do the same with substance abuse. I guess people look at it like a sex addiction is like, well, it's not a drug, or it's not alcohol. But it can still ruin your life either way. It can damage your relationships. Like, let's say you're married to someone that you love, whether it be your wife, your husband, whatever, and you suffer from sex addiction, and that addiction you have is, it claws away at you, and you end up cheating, whether it just be one time or multiple times. You cheat on your spouse, your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and then the relationship falls apart, and that results from your addiction. If you should have went and got help for that, and that's the thing that really with any addiction, y'all, is people don't want to admit that they have it, even though they know they do. And I went through the same thing. I did not want to admit that I had a problem with something. I mean, it's definitely a blow to your ego, and it's a blow to your pride. You have to swallow your pride and be humble and admit it. But a lot of people just aren't willing to take that step to get better, and to become a better person. And you know, the gay community, y'all, it really makes me sad sometimes. You know, I don't by any means think sex is like this taboo, you know, topic that should never be talked about. No, I don't think that at all. I think it's a natural thing. Of course, you know, that's how I got here, was through that. And that's how all of you watching this video got through, you know, became to earth, was, you know, through sexual activity. And, you know, but even though something is natural, if you abuse it, then yes, it can have a counter effect on your life and, you know, destroy your life. It's the same thing with substances. Some of the substances people say, you know, oh, it's on. I'm very careful, y'all, with like what words I use on here, because YouTube's funny. So, you know, like certain substances that they say comes straight from the earth and it grows freely. God put it here. I think you know what I'm talking about. But, you know, yes, it is natural. It grows. I mean, anybody can go out and grow it right now. But the thing about it is, just because it's natural does not mean you should abuse it. You have to have respect for stuff too. And when you abuse something, you don't have any respect for it. And that's when things will come bite you in the ass. And I think the sex addiction part is a lot of the reason why gay men struggle so desperately in relationships and finding love, is because they don't know how to stay with one person. But and the thing is, some people, y'all, are just maybe not cut out to be monogamous. And that's okay, but you need to make sure that you find a partner, or, you know, if you're into multiple partners, you know, whatever your groove is, make sure you all are on the same page, and don't lead someone on, making, you know, someone that is monogamous, making them think that you are, and that it's easy for you to do, and then you turn around and you lie to them and you cheat and you end up breaking their heart, and you know, you just pretty much you form another enemy in life that, you know, that could have easily been prevented if you were just honest. But, you know, and a lot of it too, like, you know, being on these dating apps, I see nothing wrong with dating apps. I mean, it's modern day internet, cell phones, you know, I think it's a good way to meet people. But if you're on there all the time looking for sex, and, you know, that's how you get your attention from, you know, whether you're straight or gay, whether that's how you get attention from the opposite or the same sex, you know, you feel like you have to be sexual about it. Well, that's what you're always going to be viewed as, is just a sexual object, just a piece of meat. I found that out the hard way. You know, when I was younger, especially in my teenage years, early 20s, I really hyper-focused in on my looks, because I had just come out, and I realized just how, I guess, how much gay men really based a lot of pride and a lot of your self-worth of a guy on his appearance. And so, you know, I really found that out pretty quickly. And, you know, fortunately, I was like, well, you know, I've always been called handsome my whole life, so maybe I have, you know, at least one step ahead of some people. And so I hyper-focused on trying to look my absolute best 24/7. And, you know, that's not really possible for anyone. I mean, I did everything I could. I was, you know, watched my weight with every little crumb of food that went in my mouth, to the point that it drove me crazy. But, you know, that's what I focused on. And when you focus on stuff like that, that's what you're going to get in return. So, you know, truly, the people that I was attracting in my life, they were with me just because of my looks, basically just for sex. And then, you know, once they get it, and after the new of it wears off a few times, well, they move on to the next person. And I could never figure out what was wrong. And then, you know, I realized, hey, you know, why, you know, you're the problem, Dylan, because you are absolutely putting yourself out there as someone who, that is all they're good for, that is all they're worth, is just a good time. And that's why you keep attracting people that are just like, they're sex addicts, and that's all they care about, that's all they want, that's what they want to start talking about as soon as they meet you. You know, whether it be in person or on a dating app or texting or whatever, you know, you get a hello, and then the next, you know, messages after that, they start getting sexual. And, you know, you have to stay away from that kind of stuff. And, you know, that's just, in the gay community especially, I think it's just so sad, you know, how just the pressure is to look certain ways and to be so sexual. And, you know, it gets people, to me, in a toxic loop. You know, it puts people in toxic mindsets and it gets them involved in a toxic kind of lifestyle because, you know, jumping from person to person to person, you know, and doing it because, you know, you hate yourself, and, you know, doing it not from a place of self-love and appreciation, that is toxic. And, you know, that will destroy your life after a while. I mean, you know, having sex or sexual relations with someone because you love them, you know, that's totally different. Or, you know, having sex because you and your partner want to make a child, that's different too. You're doing that out of love. But, you know, going and just jumping from person to person because, you know, it makes you feel special doing that, and you feel like it makes people like you. Well, you know, you're going to end up later in life, you know, you're going to end up getting to a point where you're burned out from it. And you're really going to feel about this big because you've lived your life a certain way, and you realize it actually, you know, doing that will never get you anywhere. And, you know, I've never had sex addiction, but, you know, like I said, I've had my addictions that I relied on way too much, you know, I thought made me happy. And then finally, when you know, a good decade or so later, I realized, you know, this does not make me happy, and I am going nowhere in my life. So I straightened up, and I really tried to make something of myself, and, you know, and not base so much of my happiness on my addiction. You know, try to be able to, you know, learn about your addiction and why you do the things you do. Be self-aware, and also be patient and love yourself when you are going through recovery from it. But, you know, learn self-control, learn to, you know, be able to respond positively to the triggers that you get, because when you quit an addiction, there are triggers. I mean, there's no way around that. It's just, you have to learn to handle it and to be strong and move forward and not give in. But, you know, that is easier said than done, because it is not easy, trust me. So, guys, that's just my 2 cents on all this. Yeah, I try to just make a video really of whatever comes into my mind that day. I actually have so much that I just could sit and talk about. So I have to make notes in my phone, and I don't know, I can just go on for a long time over a lot of things. I like to ramble, if you haven't noticed, and I like to talk. So, guys, thank you all for watching this video. I will be back in, could be a few days, I don't know. It just depends. Whenever I get time to make another video, that's usually what I do. So, all right, y'all take care. Thanks for watching my channel. Like the video, subscribe, and I will be back shortly with another video. Thanks, guys. Bye.